So Akademiks was just watching this on stream and was basically like arguing the point that No Jumper has just like a ton of random podcasts and that I'd be giving podcasts to random crackheads. So let's just like run through run through each podcast on the channel at this moment in time. So the main ones, of course, you have the Adam interviews, and then you also have T-Rail and Flacco doing interviews on the channel as well.
I do interviews.
And Duno, and yeah, and just
Lush.
Lush doing
Almighty
some
too.
Right, everybody, a lot of people
Gina.
doing some here and there, yeah.
Gina.
But and then you have the No Jumper Show, which I feel like is a pretty respectable podcast that has a sizable viewership. I think it would be fair to say. And then you have At the End of the Day, which is pretty much about the same views on the average week, I would say. And then you have the Sharp Tank, which honestly might actually be number one in terms of like average views per episode.
Facts.
I mean,
For sure it is.
when you take into consideration all the viral episodes that Sharp has had that have millions and millions of views, I mean, clearly Sharp is not a crackhead, even metaphorically. Sharp's doing numbers. And then you have Disconnected, which, averages probably around 100K every single week. So not as big as some of the other ones, but I feel like definitely has a solid fan base, and the people fuck with Disconnected in its own right.
And then there's the Monday show.
And then you got the Monday show, and I feel like the Monday show, obviously that's the one that has gone through the most modifications in recent memory.
Facts.
But the past few weeks come into its own, and you feel me, got a solidified cast, and is on the way up.
I feel like, and then you have the news streams as well. You have the vlogs. I mean, there's a lot of content going up on the stream. That's not even the same thing. Sledge Lords or the Clips channel or everything else that we have going on. I mean, I don't know. You could definitely look at No Jumper and be like, oh, some of the shows are more popular than other shows, and some of them are not as popular, whatever. But we still, there's a lot of podcasts out there that are considered like big, successful podcasts that get 100,000 views every week on YouTube, right? So, we have pods that are doing way more than that.
Well, also, the No Jumper approach to podcasting is becoming like its own network, which features a plethora of different talent and different voices. It's not something like Vlad or Akademiks where it's primarily one person's voice juxtaposed with, whoever they're interviewing or whatever the topic is of the moment. So it's a very different approach. I can understand how if you're not a regular viewer, you might see No Jumper and be like, who are these motherfuckers? But everybody that's on this platform was hand selected very methodically and has a whole repertoire that predates any of our affiliation with No Jumper. There's nobody on No Jumper that got made as far as in the world of hip hop by No Jumper. Now, it did give a lot of us second lives. It did, put a battery in a lot of our backs. It did provide new opportunities and help a lot of us reach new plateaus. But there's not a single person that's on here that didn't have a valid voice in the culture in one way or another in hip hop prior to No Jumper.
And it's the only network where somebody besides the owner is on camera damn near more than the owner. They can't tell us nothing.
And I've been thinking about this a lot, honestly, like just with the whole end of the year and shit, is that I just feel really lucky that we still, like, after all these fucking years, still have so many people watching the podcast. And I was thinking about that when I was looking at the views on the old episodes, is that we used to do this shit and get 50,000 views or whatever, like 30,000 views when we first started and shit. And it was whatever. I was like, that's not crazy, but
it didn't matter.
We're going to keep it going, just see what fucking happens. And I started doing it because of the Joe Budden podcast. And, I'm not going to compare views, but I think that in comparison, we're doing pretty good too. Like, they're still doing numbers and everything. But, I'm not sitting around comparing myself to other people or whatever. Like, I don't really, think about it like that anyway. And even the worst podcasts on here, view-wise, it's still, if you're constantly... for me, honestly, the thing I feel bad about is just that we're not trying out more people. I want to take my fucking weekly schedule and put more hours into doing streaming content. We're trying out people for the first time and putting more people on camera, if anything. And and if you're putting more people on camera, you're kind of expecting that you're going to do lower numbers to start, right? That's just kind of expected. And that you have to do what you can.
And everybody not going to stick.
Yeah.
And everybody doesn't work with with the person that's next to him. Like they could do low views one day and then the next week be with a whole different dynamic of people on camera and they could fucking explode.
Yeah, we're high up on a lot of people's lists because of the fact that we just try mad shit.
The
and that
cream
some
will
of it
rise to the
works,
top.
you know? Yeah.